You're watching 12 WKRC, a new generation of news. Now, live from Fountain Square in the Cincinnati Visitor Center at the Fifth Third Center, this is Good Morning Cincinnati.
It is now 7:04 and still ahead. A local creation grabs national recognition. At 7:08, Chris Bailish takes a closer look at a backyard beauty. 7:08 now, and a national magazine is featuring a local homeowner's backyard creation this month. Chris Bailish, live in Westchester, joins us now with the story behind this. Hey, Chris.
Hey, good morning, John. We're live at the home of Larry Kraft, and his hobby is his garden railroad. Basically, this hobby takes the indoor train set, moves it into an outdoor setting, and combines it with the other hobbies of gardening, landscaping, water gardens, rock gardens, miniatures, and even model and bridge construction. To do this, you need a large, sturdy train, that is the G-scale train, and in fact, the G stands for garden. It's 1 3/4 inches between the rails, and the train cars are about the size of a loaf of bread, and they hold up to the weather real well. Larry, good morning.
Good morning.
Why don't you start out by giving us some of the dimensions of your set here?
Well, the overall dimensions is about 50 foot by 50 feet. I got 500 feet of track, 5 bridges, 3 tunnels, 3 mountains. I can run 4 trains at one time. So pretty much, there's a lot of plants in here, which gets into miniature plants and dwarf Alberta spruce and all kinds of different plants. And then, of course, you got the water effect with the fish and the ponds, and everything goes along with it.
How long did it take you to build this?
Well, I did most of it in the first summer of '93, after I had my plans from Applied Imaginations, and after that, it's never ended. Still working on it. I'm building buildings and different things all the time.
Now the question is, did you start with maybe 1 train and just a very small garden railroad, or did you go big from the get-go?
Actually, I think it's kind of typical. I started with a train around a Christmas tree, like a lot of people do, and migrated outside, and here we are. Now,
how much do you have invested in this? I have to ask. This is the most elaborate setup I've ever seen in a private home.
My wife says it's her new Cadillac. That's all I can say.
Fair enough. And I understand that you're going to actually install a roof or something?
Well, in the fall of the year, because it's a shaded area, we have a lot of leaves come off in the trees, and about mid-September I put up a sun-screening netting to catch the leaves so we can run the trains during the leaf season. They can cause a lot of problems.
And by the way, John and Cammie, here's the neat thing. This is such an incredible setup. House and Garden magazine, national magazine, featured Larry's setup here in a full-color 2-page spread inside the magazine, and we'll show you that coming up a little bit later. And also the 35-foot handmade redwood railroad bridge, which in railroad terms we call a trestle. We're going to show you that coming up a little bit later too. John, what do you think?
I think that's very elaborate. I think it took a lot of work, but like a lot of people, you know, they get into a hobby, they never really get finished with it. Thank you, Chris. And if you'd like more information on model railroading yourself, just log on to the website, greatesthobby.com.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Chris Bailish here live in Westchester. National magazine House and Garden this month features the backyard train set of a local person. Larry Kraft has spent years working on this thing. It's 50 feet by 50 feet, and you will not believe what is involved in this garden railroad. We'll talk about this hobby, we'll talk about what goes into it, and what type of person you need to be to get into this. Live report coming up.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you an example of a person you can't be, the type of person you can't be to be into that, and that would be me. I don't have patience for that.
I was going to say, patience would be, I would think, the prime virtue.
Look at all the detail in that trestle and everything. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into not just
the landscaping and
maintaining
everything.
it.
Yep.
Little lawnmowers for the...
Yeah, I suspect that I would go through just jerking out parts every now and then.
Yeah, you and me both.
Oh, yeah. A national magazine is featuring a local homeowner's backyard creation this month. Chris Bailish is live in Westchester, joins us now with this amazing story. Hey, Chris, is that the magazine?
Hey, good morning, John. Yes, check it out. Current issue of House and Garden magazine, and it has an article this month about garden railroads. Some of the most elaborate model train displays in the country are featured, and lo and behold, it's the garden railroad that they chose for their center 2-page spread. Go ahead and open it up, Larry. Is that of Larry Kraft, who lives on Mallard Drive in Westchester, and it is amazing. 50 feet by 50 feet in size. runs 4 trains at a time by remote control. It has 2 ponds with goldfish in it, and they're both connected by a river. Dozens of miniature buildings, teepees, a circus, a ranch, and my favorite part of all, an amazing 35-foot long, 3-foot tall, handmade redwood railroad trestle. Now, Paul Bussey is a spokesperson for the World's Greatest Hobby campaign. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Why don't you start out by telling us how you would describe the hobby of garden railroading?
Well, I think it's a delightful combination of many interests. You can be a model railroader, you can be a gardener, you can be a rock gardener, water gardener, model maker. So it puts all these great hobbies all in one. So, and it also ties in the whole family. I mean, there's something for everyone in the family to do, so it's a wonderful family project.
How many people participate in this hobby nationally and locally?
Well, see, just to give you an example, the Greater Cincinnati Garden Railway Society has about 150 families involved. But nationwide...
Here in the tri-state?
That's right here in the tri-state. But nationwide, there's about 40,000 subscribers to Garden Railways magazine.
This setup has got to be one of the most elaborate in the country, certainly to be featured in as the center spread. How much time does it take to build something like this?
Well, there can be, you don't sit down and count the hours, but as a company, we came in and helped Larry get this started by designing and putting the framework and more or less turning over what I would consider sort of a paint by number that, you know, over the years, Larry has filled in all the blanks here.
Now, we've been putting up all morning long a website, www.greatesthobby.com. What's that all about?
That's a great information resource that can lead you to the wonderful world of model railroading and especially garden railroading, but just, you know, where to get things and how to get started and where are magazines and everything.
What type of person would you recommend this hobby for, garden railroading? Certainly someone with a lot of time.
Well, time's one factor, but also if you like to have fun, but if you enjoy hands-on, you know, I think there's something for everyone, because you can start out with ready to run out of the box stuff, or you can scratch build everything.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much, Paul Bussey. Thanks to Larry Kraft, the homeowner, who we interviewed a little bit earlier. And boy, just amazing stuff. And we're going to show you one of my favorite features coming up in the final nugget at 7:55. John, back to you.
All right, how do you pick out of how elaborate that display is, what your favorite is? Thank you, Chris. And if you'd like more information on model railroading, just go to the website that Chris mentioned. It's greatesthobby.com. And good morning again, everyone. It's 5 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Let's rejoin Chris Baelish with his final nugget.
Hey, good morning, John. We're back out live in Westchester at the home of Larry Kraft, and his hobby was featured in a full-page color spread on the pages of House and Garden magazine this month. What is his hobby? Garden Railway. In his backyard, it's 50 feet by 50 feet, this display. It runs 4 separate trains at a time, all by remote control. It has 2 ponds with goldfish connected by a river, dozens of miniature buildings, teepees, a circus, a ranch, and my favorite of all, a 35-foot long, 3-foot tall railway trestle. But here's my favorite feature. When you're done playing for the day, the train track runs right through a 12-inch little door and into the house. How convenient is that? John, back to Fountain Square.
That guy thought of everything. I thought I'd seen it all, but that's it. That's everything right there. All right.